Okay, yo, everyone. Hope you're all having a good day so far. Yeah, let's get into some more debates, some more trouble. Might as well start off with the the algorithm for TikTok. So, hello TikTok algorithm. Today we're discussing the end of all suffering with total extinction, and if it's a good thing or a bad thing. So, yeah, let's hear. Hey Shroom, how you doing? But yeah, I want to hear more comments today, more people in the chat, and giving their opinions, right? So don't just stay in the chat and be silent. Start, letting us hear what you think. Do you support the end of suffering or not? Make your opinion known. Make your voice known. Don't just be quiet and say nothing. Let's all be part of the conversation together. Okay, we have our first guest coming on.
Hello, James.
Hey. Yes, how you doing?
I'm good. What about you?
Good, thank you.
Okay, now, have you ever helped someone by getting rid of them?
No,
Why would you let them suffer then?
I've just never had the opportunity to do it.
But would you, how do I say that? Would you
Well,
kill your, would you kill your family?
yeah, I mean, the thing is, we need humanity to continue until we've done animal extinction first, right? They suffer worse in greater numbers, and they'll suffer for billions of years unless we temporarily continue to reproduce, keep humanity going until we help other life. But yes,
Uh,
absolutely, I would end the suffering of my family. I would end the suffering of anyone with. Now, look, it's easy to say I wouldn't hesitate. It's easy to say that, yeah, I would end my own suffering without hesitating. But, realistically, yeah, maybe I would hesitate, okay? But that it's still the right thing to do. And logically and rationally, yes, we would still celebrate their safety. And, I made this point the other day. Extinctionism isn't just about, letting life go extinct, right? It's about making it happen as fast as possible, right? Providing that safety from suffering as fast as possible. So it's not like, oh, I'm glad they got a few extra days. It's like extinction as fast as possible, right? So yeah, the urgent need for safety does need to be fulfilled with extinction as fast as possible. So it's not like would you support them going extinct or not? It's like, oh my god, they have to stop existing as fast as possible so that they can be safe. So yeah, absolutely.
what do you think suffering is?
I think it's like, I mean, this is just speculation, and it's not really important what exactly suffering is at this particular moment. But I think it's like a form of inflammation in the consciousness, basically.
Do you think grief is suffering?
Yeah, I mean, everything can be suffering, absolutely, and anything can be suffering if you don't enjoy it.
But when you wipe them out of Earth, their families will grieve. That means that they will suffer because of you.
Well, hopefully there won't be any families left. They'll all be gone.
Yes, but they will be moments of grieving, you know?
Yes, but as I love pointing out, even if we had to torture everyone for 100,000 years and every animal too, it would still be less suffering than the alternative of just letting it happen forever.
I see. So, what would you do against the rebellion?
Well, you've got the Empire, you've got the Rebellion, and yeah, there probably will be a bit of conflict. So, but that's just how it goes.
Because most people would disagree with you and they will be more than you and they will rebel.
Yeah, but just as Luke Skywalker took on the Empire, who was much bigger than him, the rebels won, right? And the same was true with lots of movements in real history on Earth, right? With the slavery campaign in America and around the world, other revolutions to take out dictators and to have a more democratic country and stuff. So yeah, it's always been difficult. There's always been struggles, but you still have to fight to do the right thing.
So you'll be the second Hitler.
No, I think of myself as more like, Anakin Skywalker or something like that.
But Yoda teach him how to use his powers, though.
As far as I know, Hitler was not a Force user. He may have been a Sith Lord, but we don't know.
Okay, have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Okay, we've got lots of people in the queue already, so let's get going. James, have you started? Have you thought about an extinction party? Yes, absolutely. But the problem is that the movement is too small right now to get into politics. Imagine if I spent my life trying to, be a politician in the UK, campaigning on something nobody wants, extinction, right? I wouldn't get into office. It would be a waste of time. Maybe when the movement is much bigger, that will be possible. But it's just too small right now. Someone says they've donated $20. Well, thank you, Mr. Yan. Thank you. That does help. And for everyone else that is thinking about donating, you can find the links to donate on my profile. I've got a link that has 4 links on it. One of them is the website, one of them is the Discord, one of them is donate to me personally, and the other one is to donate to the movement. And I don't see any of the money that goes to the movement. That goes to like supplies, camera equipment and stuff to help the movement. If you donate to me specifically, that goes to helping me, live basically. All right, let's see who else we got. We've got loads of people in the queue. We're going to bring some up. Someone saying, let's report this. Someone saying this is terrorism. Well,
It's
my
an
channel's still
extremely
going.
evil ideology, in fact.
You think?
Co-extinctionism.
What, to make
They
sure there
want
is no
to
terrorism ever again?
they want to destroy everything good in the world. You want to destroy all pleasure and everything good in the world.
Yes, but but people like you want to allow all of the bad stuff in the world. That's even worse.
No, there's much more good stuff than bad stuff. If you think otherwise, you
Where is
can
that?
end yourself.
So when you say there's more good stuff than bad stuff, what do you mean exactly? Let's hear your explanation.
I enjoy life. I enjoy eating.
Yeah,
I
but
enjoy sports. I
you're
enjoy
just one
love.
person. You're just one person, okay? So when you say there's more good in the world than bad, what do you mean?
Yeah, I enjoy
Yeah,
life.
but
If
we're
people
not.
don't enjoy
The
life,
world
they
doesn't
don't have
revolve
to
around you,
participate in it.
Uma. The world doesn't revolve around you. Grow up.
If anyone thinks otherwise and thinks it's
Okay,
not
so
worth
Burma,
living, they
you're
can
clearly
change
not a
that.
serious person. You've dodged the question 3 times now. You're done. So, again, if you watch my last live stream, I was really on it, okay? I did not let people get away with dodging questions in my last live stream. I was really on it. But I'm going to be on it today as well, right? If they're dodging questions, they're going to get called out on it, okay? They're not debating honestly. They're refusing to answer. It's not a real. There's no point having someone up if they're just not going to answer my questions, right? Hello, how you doing?
Hello, I'm not fluent in English, so I can make some mistakes. But I have a question because you want to also eliminate like all human lives or also animals, right? We are
Yes.
white animals. And I'm thinking like, don't you think there is a difference between like suffering, mental suffering, and regular animal suffering? They don't have consciousness, so why do you want to eliminate them? It's like natural form of life, and there is really big difference between us because we have
So you don't think animals?
mental health.
Yeah. Okay. So you
Yes.
don't think animals suffer ever? Not even a little bit.
Yes, obviously they suffer physically, but
Well, you said they're not
I
conscious.
don't
So what do
think.
you mean by that? If they're not
Yeah,
conscious, then they wouldn't suffer anything. Like plants, trees aren't conscious. Humans are conscious.
okay, but
Animals are conscious.
isn't this like a natural thing that obviously they kill themselves and this is not
You think that's
natural
a good
form
thing?
of life? But when it
So do
comes
you
to
think?
us,
So do you think something
but
is
do you
good?
agree there is a difference between us and animals, like regular animals?
Yeah. So do you think something is good just because it's natural?
That's a great question. I'm not sure, but I think eliminating animals
Let's not
is
skip
not
that
necessary.
question.
It's just part of.
Yeah. Let's not dodge that question because that kind of is crucial to the whole thing, really, isn't it?
So can you repeat, like, what did you say?
So your argument was that animal suffering is fine because it's natural. So if it happens in nature, then it's automatically good. Is your argument, right? No matter what, as long as it's in
I wouldn't
what
say
we call
it's
nature,
good,
then it's okay.
but it's also not bad. It's like
So when you say it's not
natural,
bad,
and the difference is they live and they don't suffer continuously, like on
ever,
the daily
never,
basis. Then
not
don't
even
suffer.
never.
They can, obviously they can, but it's not like
So for most
constantly. Do you
animals,
understand?
they're
Because
running.
when it comes to
They're running for their life all day. They're starving to death. They've got infections. They're freezing to death. They're being chased by scary animals and then eaten alive. So sea turtles, for example, they have hundreds of children, and usually only one survives. The rest get eaten alive. So would you say that that's a good thing?
Obviously not. That's not a good thing. But the thing, like, animals move on. They don't have this mental consciousness that, they don't. It's not the same. And I
But
think when
animals
it
do
comes to
suffer, though.
humans,
But they still suffer though.
not the same.
Because
But
your
I can
argument
see your
basically,
point.
you're basically saying that, like, well, abusing animals doesn't really matter because I don't think they feel as much pain. So it's okay
Is it
to abuse them.
abuse? Is it abuse? Like,
Yeah,
if we
it
assume
is.
that
It is
we
abuse.
eliminate every human and they can just live, like, by themselves.
So you don't care if they suffer terribly?
No, but they don't suffer terribly.
Oh, really? So do you know how many wild animals die each year? Most of
Yes,
which is
but
as children. How
it's
many?
not the
So you
same
said yes.
suffering.
You said yes. How many?
Probably like
So
millions.
you don't know. So you were lying.
Hundreds of
So you were
Why am
lying.
I lying?
You don't know. You don't know. You just made it up. I literally made a video about this today.
But why is it a lie? It's not a lie.
So when I said, do you know how many wild animals die each year? And you said yes. And then I said, how many? And then you weren't able to answer it. That's lying.
Did I say yes? Oh,
Yes.
no, sorry. No, I don't know. But I can assume it's a lot. But I think that's not fair.
It's a number with 20
there is
zeros
something
after it.
completely different between suffering that you also can't like say what is actually
So
suffering.
if you were eaten
And in my
alive,
opinion,
you think that's
it's something
not serious?
completely different.
So let me
It's
just
like,
ask you, do you think being
when it
eaten
comes to
alive
humans,
is not that bad?
as you say usually, like pedophiles,
Okay, she's just not interested in this conversation anymore, obviously. Again, if you're just going to dodge every single question, then what's the point? Hello, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Hey, so about the sea turtles, I would argue that it is a good thing to whoever the animal that consumed those babies. I think that that's a good thing for those animals when you say that's correct.
So if you have to eat thousands and millions of animals and it benefits just you, is that really a good thing?
Yeah,
Why?
yeah, because it's all about survival, right? And survival of the fittest, right? So whoever has the most capabilities to survive is
But
going
when you
to.
say it's all about survival of the fittest, what are you referring to?
Survival.
No,
Survival itself.
Well, yeah, but survival is not. It's just one thing in the world, right? So we
No,
don't,
it's the main thing in the world, I would argue.
Why should it be?
Because if you didn't survive, you couldn't go on to procreate, and then, therefore you're pulled out of the equation. So yeah, survival is number one.
So would you say that life should always exist no matter what, without any exceptions?
Uh-huh.
So it doesn't matter if a child abuser, spawns a child in his dungeon and abuses it to death. Doesn't matter.
Well, of course it matters, but it also matters that the child actually existed and has a memory of existing. And
right. So when you said that,
what is more valuable than that? You're saying that an immaterial object like the rocks or the grass is more important than, well, that grass is arguably living. So not even grass, right? So you're talking rocks,
What are you talking about? What
So
are
you
you
say
talking
living things, all living things should be destroyed. So you're not just talking about humans, you're talking about grass, you're talking about everything. Bacteria, viruses, all life to be destroyed, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that means that you are taking the position of protecting the rocks over living creatures, right?
No, 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 it's the opposite. It's the opposite. It's to protect all of those who would suffer a life where they would have been better off not being born.
Suffering is the cost that you're going to pay to be alive. What do you mean? If you never existed and you never understood, if you never had that cognition that you've existed, then what?
Think about how many.
There is nothing.
Think about how many don't benefit from being forced to exist, from being born. Right? Think
Yeah,
about
that's fine.
why.
I accept my suffering to
Yeah,
exist.
yeah, okay, but think about those who suffer so badly that they really shouldn't exist.
You don't know how bad I've suffered in life.
I'm not talking about you though. I'm
Okay.
saying those that do. Right? The
They
world
could
doesn't
end it
revolve around
anytime
you,
they
Mark.
want. They could end it anytime they like.
So you don't think it's a problem if a child abuser spawns a child and just abuses it to death?
Of course, I think there's a problem. I think we should unalive them, right?
So you when you say that the child can just unalive themselves at any time, the baby can unalive themselves at any time in this dungeon, how is that going to work?
Well, you're saying this as if our society doesn't actively fight against these crimes.
Yeah, but it's too little,
Like,
too
what
late
do you
in many of them, right?
What's that?
But it's often too little, too late, right? Arresting a murderer after he's killed his victim doesn't help the victim.
Well, the victim is dead, so they don't even know they're dead, right?
Oh, so that suffering didn't matter.
I would for the existence of human life. No, it doesn't.
Mark, what you're saying is basically that as long as someone dies, then it doesn't matter how much they suffer before they die.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So
Life is
again,
suffering.
by that logic, it is totally moral and ethical for a child abuser to have a kid and abuse it to death.
How is that? How do you make
You're
that
saying
connection?
well, firstly, you're saying that as long as they enjoy the abuse, the abuser enjoys it.
I never
right?
said that. I never said that.
Well, you
Not
said,
once.
well, you did. You said that.
No, I didn't.
Well, let me explain. You said that it's good to cause suffering to animals as long as you enjoy it, right?
I said that.
Yeah. You
When
said,
did I say
yeah,
that?
you said eating animals is fine as long as it benefits you.
For survival. So yeah, if I eat another animal for my survival, not for my pleasure, but for my survival, yeah, it's acceptable.
So,
Survival,
yeah, but if
survival
you're talking
and
about just
pleasure is
survival,
two
Mark,
different things.
Mark,
You
if
need
we're
to
talking
you need to
about
change
just
that.
yeah, if we're talking about just survival, then you're no better than an animal, basically, right? You're saying that we shouldn't bother having.
I am an animal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're saying that we shouldn't have ethics. We shouldn't.
We are
have
all
laws,
animals. Yeah.
We shouldn't have morals. You're saying we shouldn't have morality.
I didn't.
You're saying that,
When did I say that?
because you're saying that survival is the only thing that matters.
Are you saying animals don't have some type of moral system?
Do you think they do?
Do you think we're not animals? Are we animals?
I never said that we're not.
Okay, so do we not have moral systems?
Yeah, but you're saying that they don't matter. That only survival
But
matters.
you're saying no. You're saying that animals don't have morals,
Okay, Mark.
and at the same
clearly,
time, you're saying
I think at that very last end of that bit of that conversation, hopefully everyone can see that he had no argument. He was just getting desperate at that point. Okay. Okay, moving on. Again, we do have lots of people in the queue, so we've got loads of great people to move on to. Blink is next. Hello.
Hello. Oh, I'm nervous. Hello. So I do agree with like some points, like how like humans should go extinct, but like the only reason, like okay, not only reason, but like most reason the animals are suffering is because of humans via like zoos or
that's
okay,
wrong.
like yes, sea creatures
Most-
are like predators
most
and
wild-
stuff, but like
most wild animal suffering is in nature, has nothing to do with humans.
then why should they go extinct if we're not the problem?
Because suffering is the problem, life is the problem, and it would literally benefit them to go extinct.
I get what you're trying to say, like because like dinosaurs would also suffer because of like parasites in the water, and they would slowly eat them alive. The only reason like the meteor got most of the spotlight is because it was bigger, but like still like they don't understand the concept of mental suffering, like the
But
other.
they do
person
suffer
does.
anyway. They don't need to understand. They don't need to be writing books and reading books in order to suffer.
What do you mean?
I'm saying that animals don't need to be as intelligent as humans in order to be capable of suffering.
Okay, but like dolphins are very intelligent, as you know, and they are the ones that cause the suffering. Maybe we should only exterminate the ones that cause the suffering. For example, like, you know, crocodiles, dolphins, sharks.
Most of the suffering is it cannot be solved like that, right? Even if you have no predators, they're still going to be starving to death, dying from terrible illnesses, and living lives of pure hell.
I don't know. I don't really agree with that.
You don't think any animal in nature has ever lived a bad life without predation? Blink,
Well, yeah.
blink. That's just
I'm sorry, yeah.
that's just a level of ignorance that's beyond acceptability. Okay, the idea no animal has ever lived a bad life. Come on, give me a break. Pup Bruno, hello. How you doing?
Hi, how are you doing today?
Good, thank you.
Good. Yep. Long time been a member of the voluntary human extinction movement. We're slightly different. Actually, we're vastly different. But what you've brought up was something that was floated a while ago, and so I'm going to bring to you the custodial issue behind it. How do you guarantee that all life is exterminated?
You can't guarantee anything. You can only do your best.
Okay.
But you should try. You should try. Yeah.
Okay. So if you'll give me a moment, entertain me, that is there a possibility that if going through with this, there is nobody to be the custodian of this, life doesn't entirely eliminate itself, do you run into the possibility that you've instead created something worse?
No. So our mission is basically sterilization of the entire universe, right? Complete sterilization. Now, we should try and do that, and if we can't, then we'll just do Earth. But even if we, for example, remove all of the life on Earth, and then it comes back again, it would still have been the better thing. It would still have reduced suffering, because there will be, billions of years of virtually no suffering in the meantime. Secondly, according to our science, and you can just Google it as well, if life did go extinct, it's actually very unlikely that it would come back on Earth because we're passing our Goldilocks zone. But there's also lots of ways that we can easily try to prevent life on Earth. So a very easy way, which wouldn't be 100%, but it proves that there are things you can do, would be to have an artificial moon, which would make the Earth basically as cold as any other planet in the universe, sterile and lifeless, and the technology already exists to do that, basically. So we're not going to be just removing life on Earth and then just not doing anything to prevent it. The prevention is the most important part. Removing the life is the easy part. The prevention is the more important and challenging part. And yes, we should continue to exist until we've done everything that we can. And we support humanity existing for millions of years if it means, preventing even more suffering in the universe and for more time. But ideally, hopefully, we'll be able to pass on the mission to AI and robots, and we'll be able to go extinct much, much sooner, and they can carry on the mission.
Yep, I can see that. Yeah, that actually answers all my questions. Thank you.
Great. Well, I appreciate you coming up, and read our website, proextinction.com. We've got our manifesto, our FAQ, and join our Discord as well, and continue the conversation there with us. The link to the Discord is on my profile, or you can Google search "Abolish Suffering Discord." I've also made a few videos today about similar topics that kind of would have answered that in a similar way, such as why don't we let just anyone join the pro-extinction movement? And the explanation is that the most vast and thorough extinction is far more important, even if growing the movement is much slower. We need people that aren't going to rush it and aren't going to, just go for human extinction or Earth-based extinction, but will agree to, try and do beyond that and see if we can. If we can't, then we'll do Earth, etc. Hello, how you doing? Okay, thank you for that ASMR. Much appreciated. All right, moving on. We have someone else coming up. It's Talk Ticker. Hello.
Hey, hello, James.
How you doing?
I was wondering, instead of doing activism, why don't you, become like a scientist and create a super virus that would wipe all humanity out?
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be more effective?
that's against our mission, and likely a virus probably wouldn't do the trick anyway. So it won't be like a virus. We have to run the world basically ethically. So that needs to happen anyway. It's being run by dictators and criminals right now. So it needs to be run ethically anyway. And then we'll start doing animal extinction and researching universe-wide extinction as well.
Okay, that's fair. I would just like to say one thing that, I'm 30 years old now, and this universe or this life, whatever you want to call it, it's like it is like a duality. It's light and darkness, and light cannot be without the darkness. It, how should I say? Neither can exist nor be fully understood without the other.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
that's just the way it
it's
is.
only very privileged ones that get to see life that way. The vast majority just gets tortured to death.
Well, I hope that one day you will change your opinion on this, but
And to what? To what? That most animals aren't being eaten alive as children? But how's my opinion going to change on that?
it's, how do I say it? It's like universal. If a storm blows your house into pieces, will you try to ban all weather or storms? I mean,
If someone next to you screams for help, would you just ignore them? Because that is what you're suggesting.
not really.
Well, yeah, you're saying that we should ignore the suffering of those who suffer.
I wouldn't say that.
So
But
what are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? If you're not supporting extinction, then what should we do? You said I should change my opinion. To what? To just, oh, it's a shame, but let's keep it going.
well, let's just say I've been on this spiritual journey, and I'm telling
Well,
you,
it's
it's
clearly taken you to a terrible and dark place, and I think you need to get rid of your spiritual journey. Start your rational journey. Read some science books. Hello, how you doing?
Hello. So I
ASMR. Got some ASMR going on. Let's see if I can do a little bit as well. Tippity tappity tippity tappity. How's this working for you guys? Is this getting your rocks off? Now, Ishki, it looks like you've switched onto a different app that mutes you on TikTok. We've got you back now, I think. Yes.
yeah. So you are talking about basically having safety and basically just guaranteeing there's no suffering again, but how can you actually 100% guarantee that there is maybe no afterlife that is even worse than what we have now? I mean, of course, I don't believe in that, but you cannot really 100% guarantee that.
Yeah, Ishki, it sounds like you have some microphone problems, but yeah, there's no we have to operate in a rational way, a scientific way, and essentially we have to assume that there is no afterlife, there is no God, there is no flying spaghetti monster until we see evidence of it. So that means that we have to understand the world in the way that we can see it and that we can measure it reliably, and that there's no proof of God, there's no proof of an afterlife. In fact, everything seems to be the opposite. The way that your brain changes, how is that going to be reflected in the afterlife, right? Well,
Well,
but
yeah.
the thing is, right, by that logic, right, we should all basically try to become vegetables before we die, right? So that when we go to the afterlife, when we go to super hell, which you're saying might exist, we should all be brain damaged to the point where, you know, we're just vegetables before we die, so that when we get to super hell, we don't feel any pain. We're just in a coma, basically.
Well, my point is just that you want to extinct everyone to guarantee 100% no suffering and 100% safety, when you factually cannot guarantee that by killing everyone.
Because of super hell.
Because there might be, you don't know it, you cannot.
So would you support making everyone brain damaged to the point where they can't feel pain before they die, so that when they get to super hell, they have a chance of not being tortured for all eternity because they died with brain damage that prevented them from feeling pain?
No, I mean, like, let's not say hell, but the thing is that not even
Do you
science.
support causing brain damage as to reduce suffering?
No, I
Before
don't.
death.
No, I don't think
How
that.
else can we protect ourselves before we pass on to the afterlife?
There is no way, because you don't know what's actually gonna happen.
So
But
you're
I have
saying that
another
there's an
question.
all-intelligent being that says, right, no, I see what you've done there. You've tried to make yourself brain damage before you die. No, I'm gonna wind back time and put you into hell with your full capacity to feel pain. So look, if there's an intelligent being doing that crazy stuff, then yeah, obviously, then I think at that point we've got bigger problems, right?
Yeah.
So we should still try and do the right thing.
I mean,
And
I don't believe that there is an afterlife, but I'm just suggesting like the possibility. But I have another question, and it's there you can also not 100% give certainty that we will not evolve back, so, or that we will not come back. And so I think from your logic, if, I mean, yes, all suffering would be ended, but if we come back, we would be at the same place. Rather,
So,
if
when you
we,
say we'd be at the same
there's another
place,
question to it.
yeah, what do you mean the same place?
So if this extinction works, but like, let's say in 1 million years something went wrong and we start to evolve again, then we would evolve in the same place again. I mean, with suffering, because you are right, life is in a way suffering. So if we would evolve again, we will be suffering again, because we cannot 100% guarantee that we won't come back. So my question is it not better to find a system that minimizes suffering so much that that's really little, so that's better than if we come back and have all this suffering again? Do you know what I mean?
No. Yeah, basically the idea is like it's like using wild animals for extinction instead of just having extinction. We can't prevent life by having life. That's not going to work. You can't prevent suffering by just leaving it to suffer. Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. I would say that we are not safer from suffering by having life. We are safer from it by not having life. Having life just makes it infinitely more complicated, more dangerous. So, and look, people are very doubtful, very dubious about our ability to prevent life from coming back, prevent evolution. But again, that is the main part of the mission. So even if we have to continue on for 1 million years, right, as humans, so that we can make the most advanced system that's going to prevent evolution, then we'd still do it. And it's more than possible. It's very easy. And it's going to be much more effective than just doing nothing.
Okay, and I have a last question, or yeah. So, you know, science says that our universe is probably infinite. So there are probably 1 million or more planets with life on them, and you can't really control life. I mean, even if we like
We control life now.
just our life on Earth, but there is unfortunately no way to control every life in the universe.
There's also no cure for cancer, but people are still trying to make it happen.
Yeah, but if we would extinct ourselves, this would not
Yeah,
This would
exactly.
only this would
But yes,
only
our mission says we should not go extinct until we've done as much as possible. So we've got that covered.
but you don't, because you will never be able to destroy every life in the universe.
But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't help as many as we can.
But then you would be killing your movement, and then it would be gone, and then life would evolve in other parts of the universe. And
But you're saying we can't reach that part of the universe anyway.
yeah,
So that's irrelevant.
so you wouldn't have ended all suffering.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't make sense to not help 5 out of 10 people just because you can't help 10 out of 10, right? It's better to do as much as you can rather than to do nothing, which is what you're advocating for.
I'm not advocating to do nothing. I'm just saying that you would just kill
Yeah, that's the
your
alternative, though, right? Is to do nothing.
alternative. I think the alternative is to, if we're going in this kind of absurd way, I think that with
What absurd way?
all of this technology that you're also saying that you want to use for your method, I think technically we should be making simulations for everyone, where everybody is just unaware that they have a body and put into
So
a
all of the animals suffering in nature, we just ignore them.
no, we also put them in simulations technically.
So before the simulations come out, and that's going to take very, very long time to make happen, we just ignore all of the suffering in the meantime.
Yeah, exactly. Like you were doing it as well. You
No,
also
we're not. You're saying we should just allow the suffering, right?
No,
You're
I'm not
saying
saying
you're
that.
quite literally saying we could immediately help them and we shouldn't.
Okay. Wait, I think I expressed myself wrong. Okay, so I need to ask you before you are able to kind of kill everyone in this world and end all life in this world, you need to do preparations, right? And during this time, there will be still suffering, right?
Yeah.
So in my method, where everybody would be in a simulation, you also need preparation and put everybody after that preparation into a good
Yeah,
simulation.
but simulations are not. Oh, God damn it! Why has TikTok restricted me? Simulations are not ethical without certainty of safety, basically.
Well, you can program it that so that the person only ever.
You can't program a computer to have omniscience. It doesn't work like that. That's the wrong way
You
around.
can program a simulation like that a human or an animal that lives in the simulation, that they are unaware of them having a body and of them having this outside life.
But you're ignoring the main point, which is that if there's no certainty of safety, right, it can still go wrong in infinite different ways.
That would be a certainty of safety if everybody would just live in a simulation.
How do you know?
The same way that you also, you say, okay, I know, because if you are in a simulation where you're programmed to be everything is good, then everything is good, right?
Ishki, do computers ever go wrong?
They do, yeah.
Right. So that doesn't sound like certainty of safety to me. It doesn't sound very ethical.
Okay, but the thing is that your method also is not better than mine, because if life comes back, there would be even more suffering again. Like
well, how? How would there be even more?
Because if we do my method, then there would be very, very, very little chance of suffering. If we do your method and life comes back,
let me ask you this.
and life comes back, then we would live everything again, and we would maybe.
Here's what you're not thinking. Here's where you're going wrong. Okay, so I was actually thinking about this yesterday. So I've already thought about this exact thing. I know the point you're making. And basically, even if you were to do promagic.com, engineer heaven and everything else and simulations or whatnot, you would still have to do extinction, right? You couldn't do a simulation or heaven or whatever else without sterilizing the universe, right? The universe would still have to be sterile.
What do you mean? Why?
Because if it's not, then there's still going to be suffering, and you've just unethically allowed all of that suffering.
I mean, okay, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
And
right.
my thing, I mean, I need to say that the simulation method is probably like is really
So how's
hard.
the simulation going to sterilize the universe?
It's not gonna sterilize the universe.
Exactly.
I mean, the preparation, I guess, has to be that every single living thing has to be captured and put into a simulation, which is really hard. I don't think it's
No,
even possible.
that's ridiculous. Yeah, that's just not
But
going to
it's
work.
but
So
it's
look,
just it's also
I'll tell you, I'll give you the reality. Okay, I'll tell you what's actually serious. I'll tell you what you should be thinking. So extinctionism covers the simulation as well, but we shouldn't let those suffering terribly suffer. We shouldn't just ignore them and go after the pleasure. So what we should do is total extinction and pass it on to AI and robots. And as they're sterilizing the universe, which has to happen anyway, they can try and create a simulation or whatever, right? If they create certainty of safety, if they discover omniscience, then they can do it. But there's no point, doing it now while life needs help, right? We should do that after we've solved all of the suffering. It's not urgent to have a simulation. It is urgent to relieve all of this suffering. So we can do that later.
Also, the thing is that robots and AI, they only, or let's say AI only lives with servers that are taken care of. And if every human in the
So do
world
we.
would
Our server
die,
will fit.
yeah, if every human in the world would die today, there would be probably no internet in about 1 week because the servers are not getting taken care
Yeah,
of.
but yeah, AI is really undeveloped right now. But we're not talking about today. In the future, AI is not going to have the exact same problems that it has today.
So you think it's possible that AI kind of
Can be relied on, and that we can go extinct? Yes. Yeah, AI is going to be smarter than humans. Okay, it will be, right? Look, humans are not very smart. They're just stupid animals, basically. So yeah, AI 1,000 years from now is going to be way smarter, probably, maybe, right? Look, if it's not, then yes, humans will have to continue, because we suffer less than animals anyway. So we might as well at that point.
And I have another question. Why? I think you already answered that a lot, but why is it better to extinct everyone and having the chance that it comes back and everyone's suffering again, instead of building a system that minimizes suffering so much that suffering only happens very little, which would then kind of make more sense, I guess?
Yeah, because you can't limit suffering like that without omniscience. So it's unethical. It's too dangerous. And it's not fair. You're saying we should allow some to get tortured so that we can have fun. There's no amount of pleasure that can justify suffering. There is no ratio.
I mean, why torture? I'm like, let's put all the torture away from Earth. Like, not allow anyone to be tortured. But
Yeah, but that's just naive, right? You're saying, oh, let's just do that. It doesn't work that way. Unless you have certainty of safety, you have infinite danger. And you can say, well, we'll just make it so that nobody suffers. But again, without certainty, you can't be certain that you'll do that.
yeah, I mean, that's true.
So
Well,
it's not ethical. You're gambling with innocent beings getting tortured, right? So that we can have fun. It's not okay.
I feel like, I don't know. I mean, it makes all sense, and your pro-extinction movement would factually would work because all suffering would be ended. But somehow, I don't know. I just don't.
Yeah, but again, you're saying that it would come back, right? But even in your hypothetical of the simulate, you'd still have to do extinction anyway. You'd still have to do sterilization. If you don't, then you risk life, right? You still have to. Yeah, it just wouldn't work.
Yeah, I think the thing is why I can't say yes, this is I think that's right, is because I don't think that life is controllable, because as said, everywhere in the universe there's gonna be life, and I think we are just like a really, really, really small percentage of life. And
But
if
Ishti, we've had the internet for 30 years. It is very naive and premature to say that there's nothing we can do and that we shouldn't even try, right? You're saying, yeah, there will be terrible suffering out there. So why not lift a finger and try to help?
but we're just gonna kill ourselves, and we're like
No,
zero
you just,
point one one one
Ishki,
one
that's
one.
it. You're done. You're done. Okay? Your pessimism is unhealthy. It's not warranted. It's not helping anyone, right? All you're doing is just lying around and saying, no, it'll never work. No, we'll all just die. We'll all just kill ourselves. No. While the sufferers are screaming for help, you're just saying, nah, forget it. Let's go for a simulation. Let's focus on pleasure. It's just ridiculous, okay? So, look, it may not have been the worst conversation I've ever had, but ultimately I am very disappointed with her. Jeremiah, hello, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. So my question would be like, you say like suffering, right? Like it's bad. So isn't like suffering cause like how do you make it possible that like all people consent to that being extinct, right? That
Yeah, so they probably won't, right? And you know, most wild animals, farmed animals, they're not going to consent to it either. But you still have to do it because it is the right thing for them. So they've got survival instinct. You know, animals will run away even if you're trying to help them. So it's the same thing.
yeah, but the problem with that is like with that you would allow me to do horrible things to you right now because I think it's necessary and like we need like to.
Whoa, what? No, what? I wouldn't do that. No.
No, but why? Like if you tell me like that we should like force people without consent to be going extinct, then I could say like right now, like why can I force you to go extinct? Hypothetically, of course.
Well, you could, but I would disagree with it.
But why?
Well, because you have the freedom to do so, right? The same freedom that child abusers are using.
No, but yeah. then I would start the extinction with you, hypothetically. You know what I mean? Like, so the question is like, in what
do you mean
order
stop extinction with me? What do you mean?
No, in what order will you continue? In what order will you start this? Like, do you like invent a weapon which is like unaliving everyone all at once, or?
No. We start with animals. It's going to be bit by bit. It's going to be organized, structured. It's not going to be a virus or something, or nuclear bombs or anything like that. It's going to be much more, structured and official than that, basically. So we do animals first. We research prevention of life developing. Try and do the universe if we can. Maybe send out some robots to go on for the rest of time. And
do we start with farm animals?
Yeah, I don't know exactly if we'd start with wild animals or farmed animals, but
I mean, farm animals are the most exploited ones, I think. So, like, we have 100 billion every single year. We're unaliving. So, I think, I'm absolutely like, I'm vegan, right? And I'm absolutely for the extinction of farm animals, 100%, because they are suffering by us.
And what about wild animals?
Wild animals are like, I think 5% of global biomass.
No, that's a myth.
Why is that a myth?
Yeah, it's funny. Vegans are actually incredibly misinformed.
It's our world and data, so we can look this up. Our data is like a resource.
That refers to mammals.
Yeah, I said global mammal biomass, right? Or didn't I say that?
No, you said animals. So for
mammal biomass.
But for all animals, and the farmed animals is like nothing. It's nothing.
It's like 5%. Farmed animals are like 39%, like including livestock and pets. Yeah, and like global mammal biomass, humans are 36%.
Yeah, but the number of animals that die in nature each year has 20 zeros after it, which is a lot more than farmed animals. Okay, but and actually, wild animals do suffer worse. They don't get euthanasia, they don't get medicine, they don't get shelter. Safety.
But would veganism support your extinction movement?
Say again?
Wouldn't like veganism support your extinction movement by saying like, okay, we let like farm animals go extinct first, and like if we can do it right now, as you said, like before.
Yeah. The problem with vegans is that they discriminate against wild animals. They only care about farmed animals.
How so?
Yeah, well, like you just said, you only mentioned farmed animals, right? So
No,
vegans,
because like this is what we are like mostly exploiting, but I'm also like talking with
yeah,
hunters
yeah,
about wild
exactly.
animals. So I'm not ignoring that.
But most of the suffering and the worst suffering is animals in nature, basically. So it's a much bigger problem, a worse problem. And yeah, look, maybe we could, start doing farmed animals first. Maybe it would be wild animals first. Maybe it'll be
But how
both.
so? Like the farm animals, like they're bred into existence, tortured, and then unalived, right? That's what their procedure is.
That
Okay, I
happens,
agree.
that happens in nature as well.
No, if a lion, for example, eats a gazelle, right? Okay, yeah, this gazelle or like, a zebra is suffering 100%, like for 5 to 10 minutes. But like when we
5 to 10 minutes, is that it?
What?
Only 5 to 10 minutes, huh?
That was like just an estimate. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. If you tell me, like, I don't know, they are like they bite
my
into
point
the.
is, many animals in nature suffer terribly for their entire lives, not just 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, but then why shouldn't we stop now, like with the farm animals first? Like, if we can, like as you said,
Right,
like we cannot.
Again, you're ignoring the wild animals, right?
No,
So
I'm not ignoring that. I'm just
you're
like.
irresponsibly saying we should only think about the farmed animals first, right?
No, that's the start. Like maybe you're misunderstanding.
Yeah. You're saying we should start with that, but that's not ethical, right?
But why is that not ethical? You said before, like we cannot.
Because you're not even considering that maybe it would be better to start with wild animals. You're not even open to that idea.
No, I acknowledge him. 100%. Like I talk with hunters all the time.
But you're dodging what I'm saying. You're not open to starting with wild animals, right? You're not even considering it as an option.
I asked you if you would start with farm animals or wild animals, and you told me that you don't know. So I think that it's unfair to say that I start work like that. I'm only like for farm animals. Like
Jeremy, no, that's completely fair to say. That's all you seem to care about is farmed animals.
Not really, no. Like this is
Okay. Well, let me just ask you this question then. Simple question. Would you know if the science works out that it's better to start with wild animals? Would you accept that?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, well then that's all I'm asking.
Yeah, but the thing is, like we're talking about like what we humans do, and like we humans are mostly influencing like the farm animals, not the wild animals. Do you agree or disagree?
But you see, that is an irrationality that you're mistaking. It's a mistake that you're making. You're considering that the suffering that we cause is somehow worse than the suffering that we don't cause. But that doesn't actually make sense. And that's one of the biggest mistakes, because it doesn't, right? It is very possible for wild animals to suffer worse than anything that we do to farmed animals.
Yeah, but do we have like studies about that? That's a problem. I need to see evidence.
I mean, yes, we've got loads of studies, right? Over 99% of wild animals get eaten alive as children. Okay, and you can say, it only lasts a few seconds, but that's not always the case, and that is a perfect example of vegans downplaying the suffering of wild animals.
I think I admitted that, like that lions, for example, or like a zebra, like is suffering. Like I never said like that the animals are not suffering, and I acknowledged that.
You said it was a very short period of suffering, right?
I said that I might be wrong with that. I admitted that.
You did make the mistake of ignoring all of the other suffering, and you did downplay it.
No, like I said, like downplaying. I was wrong maybe with the like, for my understanding, like if a lion bites like a zebra, right, they try to cut off like their air supply, and with that then they are suffocating, or like they immediately.
No, Jeremy, again, that is not the only situation in nature, and to downplay, literally 20 zeros of animals dying each year horrifically.
I'm not downplaying that. Maybe I'm not informed about this.
You're just basically straw manning what's actually happening to just, the lion is very gentle, he's very ethical when he does it.
I never said that, but I understand.
But that's what it sounds like, right?
No, like maybe I'm uninformed about like the suffering of like the wild animals. Maybe you can give me like an example where you said like they're eaten alive. Okay, so they're
you
suffering.
just have to use your imagination, right? They're born with brain damage. They're born with chronic pain. They're born with diseases. They're born with mental illness. They're born with physical disabilities, mental disabilities, right? Chronic pain, chronic illness, chronic diseases, parasites. They're starving to death. They're running for their lives. If you've ever had a dream, a nightmare where you were being chased by a murderer, that's their life all day, every day. It's terrible. And then they get eaten alive at the end of it. They burn alive in wildfires. They freeze to death. They starve to death. It goes on and on, right? So they have the least help, the worst conditions. Humans have hospitals. Farmed animals have veterinarians. Wild animals have, getting eaten alive.
But I mean, if we can, like, realistically, we cannot stop all suffering right now, right? Like, we have like no method to do it right now. So wouldn't it be like a good way to do like what
No,
we can?
we could start doing extinction immediately.
Yeah, like which animal? What animal would you suggest would like should we let go extinct first?
Yeah, I mean, definitely farmed animals would be at the top of the priority, you know, up there with other stuff.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, that where we're agreeing on. Yeah, farmed animals. Yeah, and we can make this happen by like going vegan and like like decreasing the supply and demand.
Yeah, the problem is that unless we prevent rewilding and all of the wild animal suffering, then
yeah, we can use that. We can like hormone therapies or like no, how is it called? We can use like castration processes and so on.
No. So yeah, sterilization, it only helps the next generation. It doesn't help the current generation, right? If someone's begging for death and you sterilize them, it's like an insult. You're spitting on them, basically.
No,
So
but like
we
with
have
that,
to
we could
use-
control it. Like we cannot, like we have nothing right now where we could like immediately start, and that's why I'm saying like if we vegan.
No. So you're missing the point. Euthanasia does exist, and it is better than sterilization.
But like, okay, like how do you have like a planned out, like where you say like, okay, we start like with farm animals when we do X, Y, Z. What about like insects?
That would be irrational, right? We need to do the science first. We can't, pretend that we've done that science yet when we're not in a position to do that. The
But if we
movement
could
needs
reduce,
to grow.
I'm sorry, if we could reduce like suffering now by decreasing the amount already, like by not supporting it, by like decreasing the amount of
problem
animals.
is that if you go vegan now, it causes more suffering.
How?
Because a vegan world would have infinitely more wild animals suffering in greater numbers with worse suffering, basically. So a vegan saves approximately 30 square foot of forest every day. That's massive amounts of wild animal suffering, basically, that they're contributing towards. So vegan agriculture takes up 1/5 of animal agriculture. And, then you've got deforestation, you've got mining operation, you've got all this other stuff that's non-vegan. And all of this habitat loss actually reduces suffering massively, where veganism would have no habitat loss. It would give everything back to the wild animals, and it does. And it just makes them suffer even worse.
Would you say like the world how it is like causing more suffering, or is veganism causing more suffering? And then I would like to understand it.
I mean, everything is causing suffering, really. But
yeah, right now, right? But like, if we say veganism and we say like, okay, our goal is to decrease, like, let's die, as you said, agreed on with farm animals. As we decrease like the number of farm animals, then we decrease the suffering there, right? That would be a good step, right? So
again, you're ignoring the wild animals.
No, I'm not ignoring that. I'm just saying like
Well,
you can either do nothing.
My point is that again, to go vegan right now, it does cause more suffering to wild animals.
Yeah, okay, but like being not going vegan also causes more suffering to all animals overall.
No, so going vegan causes more suffering overall right now.
How?
You should look it up on our website on the full FAQ, question 33. We've got charts, loads of information on it. But like I said, a vegan world would have infinitely more suffering and worse suffering. There would be, just so much more land and habitat for wild animals to suffer on.
But the climate change is also like something we should understand, right? Like, for example, like when you have 1 kilograms of beef, it produces 99 kilograms of greenhouse gas emissions. And if we say this and this causes even more animal suffering, this causes like more human suffering, animal suffering overall. And therefore I don't get it.
No, you see, again, habitat loss is a good thing. So yeah, we want the environment to suffer, right? The environment is what causes suffering. Yeah, we're against environmentalism.
Yeah, but like the thing is like my problem is to understand is like that we have all these 100 billion animals, and we have also like what people don't know, 2.2 trillion to 4.4 trillion fish and like bifang and everything, and we're also causing suffering.
Overfishing, we support overfishing because it does reduce suffering. It does reduce the populations in the same way that we support deforestation.
But overfishing like destroys the planet overall, right? Because of like the fishing nets.
The planet doesn't have feelings.
Yeah, but like the people and the animals have feelings, because like if you think about like all the fisher nets, like 30% of all plastic is fisher nets.
Again, it's better if they don't have feelings, right? So overfishing means there's less fish suffering. deforestation means there's less wild animals suffering.
I
So-
understand, but the fishing process like includes like plastic pollution of the ocean, and that also like causes then like other animals like seabirds to also like suffer. So that the problem is like, how can we really say that like with our actions we are causing less suffering? And from my understanding, like veganism is not saying like we're causing less suffering. It's like against exploitation, so it's like a different topic. But we're saying like, okay, we are decreasing the suffering, like at least
But
from
it's
the.
not though. It's not though.
Why not? Like I understand.
Again,
like
because you haven't listened to a single word I've said.
No, I understood. Like the reforestation, like we would need 75% less land if all people would be vegan. And then I think your idea is like that. Okay, then more animals will be there, and these animals will more suffer, right? Like so with the with the process of like changing, like rewilding the environment, we're causing more suffering because more animals live, and potentially more animals can suffer.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but still.
Look, Jeremy, look, let me explain. The thing is, in our current world that's run unethically, you've just got loads of suffering everywhere, right? Trying to say, I'm going to support this side because it's a little bit less suffering, even though it's still doing all of this suffering. It doesn't help, okay? So going vegan does nothing realistically, okay? I've done a video on it today. Again, the number of wild animals has 20 zeros after it, right? It's just a massive amount more than farmed animals. So
yeah, but if we do nothing, like do you like how do we cause more suffering if we do nothing? Like if you continue doing this, like we are unaliving these farm animals, we're doing more and more, then more farm animals will be unalived.
The point is, we should do activism for extinction, right? Because vegan activism will never ultimately end all suffering. So it's a waste of time.
No, but the thing is, like with the rainforest deforestation, we have then to analyze, okay, if the rainforest is deforestation is happening, will that cause more suffering for animals? More animals will be hurt.
If there's less habitat, there'll be less suffering. So nature is a bad thing. The environment is a bad thing. Ecosystems are bad things.
Yeah, but if we destroy like our planet, that will cause more suffering on other sides, because like then the environment will get like more bad. Then there will be like more floods, like animals will drown.
We account for that already. We account for that already. So as we're doing animal extinction, we need to remove our dependence on them.
Yeah, but like what I don't understand is like my problem with that is too with the extinction movement is like there are people like who have hope, right? Like what differentiates us from like other animals, while it's more diabolical to unalive animals, in my opinion, is that we have hope. So if I have a broken leg, I still think like it will heal, right, at some time. And my problem with that is like how like isn't it like I don't know, isn't it like very evil to say like okay we will unalive everyone without consent? So this is my problem. Like I think everyone deserves to live, but
they
like,
didn't consent to be born, and they're not capable of understanding the danger that they're in. Like you said, you're just blindly optimistic. So because they're walking into danger without realizing it, it is better to provide them safety, even if they don't consent to the safety, because they can't make it. They can't actually consent to the danger because they're not capable of making an informed decision.
No, but if we have only this one life, we know we don't know if we have an afterlife and so on, right? So if we have this, isn't it like diabolical to just like say like okay we extinct everyone, we take what the only thing they had, because that's also suffering, right? Like for example with animals, like if we take like the only thing they have, they are suffering under this because they would have like a longer life.
I'm not following a single thing you're saying.
Okay, so. The thing is, like, we don't know if we have an afterlife. We don't know whatever, like if God exists and so on, right?
But we don't know if there's a flying spaghetti monster. We have to assume that there isn't, right?
Yeah, right.
The scientific method, the rational way to operate in this life is to just assume it doesn't exist until there's evidence.
Okay. Yeah, but then the problem for me is like how can we justify it? Like take everyone out, like if the only thing we have is like one life, and then we say like okay, we take it all out at once, and then some people will suffer differently because some people.
You're not thinking about the sufferers. You're thinking about the privileged ones who want to enjoy life, even though it's causing suffering to others and to themselves. So you need to start thinking about the suffering and the victims, and not the privileged ones who are, orchestrating all of this suffering.
No, but is there like fairness in the extinction movement?
Yeah.
Like, but
course.
how? Like, for example, like we lived, like, I don't know, like I think you're over 20, I guess. Like I'm 31, so I've lived longer. And like, if I would go extinct now, and like all, like let's say, like we push a button, everyone would go extinct. Then some people only lived like 1 year, and I lived like 31 years. So it would be unfair for them that I
No,
had.
but it's not. It's not about the fairness of getting to live, right? Being alive is a bad thing because it means that you're exposed to danger of suffering. So as soon as we can do extinction, the better. It's not about letting people, have a happy ending or anything. No, they need to be safe as fast as possible.
Yeah, but like still for me the problem is with the consent, because that opens so many doors. Like we could say like, okay,
But
just
Jeremy, you're saying that we should allow them to be exposed to infinite danger when they can't actually understand that that's happening, right? So no, we shouldn't let them consent to infinite danger when they can't even consent to that properly. They can't make an informed decision on it.
but people can make an informed decision, I guess, or not.
No.
How not?
They can't. We've proven that humans are incapable of making rational decisions, right? Humans actually evolved to be irrational so that they would be more likely to reproduce.
But we are more rational now with our morals and so on. Like otherwise, like if we wouldn't have morals, I wouldn't exist, you wouldn't exist, I assume, right? Like because I'm not the strongest, the smartest, like
morals don't create life. Nature does that.
But they allow life.
No.
Like if there wouldn't be morals, I wouldn't exist.
Well, yeah, you probably would, right? Animals in nature, they don't have morals.
No, but we have morals. Like humans have a moral system.
But only for survival, right? Not to actually be moral. It's based on survival. It's
it's like moral. Like if I see, like for example, someone like who's struggling with money, and I give them money, then it's not only for surviving. Or like if I can help someone, if I see like someone like is missing a leg, and then I give them money to get a surgery.
That's just emotions, right? That just makes you feel better.
Yeah, but that's not for surviving. But it's not for their survival need.
Yeah.
It's for
it is for survival. It's part of your emotional balance, actually.
No, but
so that is survival. And yeah, helping someone that you see in front of you is actually irrational, right? Because humans have this like out of sight, out of mind mentality where we only help someone if we have to because they're in front of us. So that's not a good thing. It's an emotional thing.
Yeah, but emotional doesn't mean that it's bad.
It does. It does, actually.
Why is it bad?
Because it means irrational.
Yeah, but like emotions are not irrational. Like
really, so it's rational to get angry, and you think
like if you there's a certain reason for it. For example, someone like stole my stuff. Like then, yeah, it's rational to be angry about that.
So if you spent weeks and weeks screaming and angry, would that be rational?
No, that would be not. Yeah, that would be irrational. Yeah, screaming. Yeah,
that
would be rational.
So it's the same thing, really.
But I gave you like an example where it would be rational. So like,
no,
there's something rational.
It's not rational because, well, it's a long story basically, a long explanation. But essentially, that is like it's like a smaller computer getting bothered about a small problem, whereas a bigger computer would be like, well, understood. Whatever, I'll deal with it. So, the more irrational you are, the more you rely on emotions and anger and stuff, because the bigger problems seem to you and the less able you are to solve them.
Okay. Yeah, my problem with that is like if we say like suffering, like us existing is suffering, right? So like humans being on the planet, like there's like studies I think about that, and like that the human is the worst that happened to the planet. So wouldn't it be then?
We're the solution. We are not the worst thing that happened to the planet. We're actually the best thing that happened to the planet, because we can end animal suffering.
But we started animal suffering.
No, this is my point, right? Vegans are ridiculously ignorant.
No,
we did not. Please. Jeremy, you're done, okay? I'm sorry, it's been great, but you are finished, okay? Humans did not start animal suffering. That's a joke, and you are proving the ridiculous levels of ignorance that vegans have, right? Ridiculous levels of ignorance. So, we support, making it so that we can go vegan without causing suffering to wild animals, but that's only going to be possible when extinctionists are running the world and not ignoring wild animals like Jeremy would have done. Okay, Let's see. We've got lots of people in the queue. So as always, we're going to bring someone else up. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Okay, so I was listening into this kind of your live, and I just want to hear just what you'll say to this. So you're saying that humans should die because it's the only ethical way to end suffering.
We're saying that we should try and sterilize the entire universe. No animals, no humans, nothing, and make it so it's impossible for there to be any life. Right? Life should never exist without certainty of safety, and only omniscience can provide that. Whereas, or non-existence, right, and extinction. So life should never exist in infinite danger, and only non-existence or omniscience can provide certainty of safety. Whereas we don't have omniscience, we do have non-existence and extinction. That's the solution that life needs so that it can be safe. If omniscience falls into our lap, then maybe it'll be different. But until then, our only way to protect life is with extinction and non-existence. And unless you do that, you will always have the unlucky ones paying the ultimate price, and that's not fair, it's not acceptable.
But if you're talking about in the sense of animals, animals have like literally the kind of I don't know how to explain it, but the biological kind of sense of wanting to live. So why so you're
So does
basically
that mean it doesn't matter how much they suffer?
well, that's just a part of it though. Like don't you think suffering
What is
could
a
be
part of
good?
what?
Don't you think suffering could be good?
Well, if you like operating a meat grinder where, innocent people and animals get tortured horrifically so that you can experience the good that results from their suffering, no, I don't think that's a good thing, right? Operating
But
a
you're
meat
saying
grinder where we put animals and children into it and they get tortured so that we can have fun, no, that's not acceptable. And the good that comes out of it is evil.
But you're making the argument of like they are suffering, but you still want them dead, so that's the kind of
Well,
outcome.
it sounds like you're having a stroke. Why don't you start that sentence again?
What I'm saying is, you're saying that animals should and humans should cease to exist to a point. So you're saying that death is like the good outcome, but in order to die, there should be some amount of suffering, no?
But death, no, you actually don't suffer that much usually with death. It's life that causes more suffering than death.
So would you technically say that for example, one way that that we were kind of close to a point of people ceasing to existing is World War II. So would you technically say
No.
yes, that's the point you're doing. You're
No,
like
because
I was listening to the last debate. You're like,
Hitler never wanted to cause total extinction.
what?
Hitler did not want extinction of humanity.
Forcibly causing total extinction. That's what the Nazis did, though.
No.
That's what they did. They
No.
literally they were doing that to
So do you
Jewish
think they were
people.
planning to make themselves extinct?
What?
Do you think they were planning to make themselves go extinct?
No, but that's the
So
point
then
you're
what on
making,
earth are you
though.
talking about?
No, that's the point you're making, though. Force
You're
that
done.
that's what
That's it.
the
You're done.
Ger-
Okay, you're just spouting gibberish at this point. Just pure gibberish. Okay. Man, what is up with these restrictions? Anyway, if you really think the Germans wanted humanity to go extinct, then you are incredibly ill-informed. Lane, how you doing?
I'm good.
Great. Good to hear. Any suffering going on that we should know about? You need a bit of extinction? Okay, I guess not. I guess he went extinct. Poor guy. I mean, good for him. Sorry. All right, next person coming up. Anno Objective. Hello. Konnichiwa.
I'm sorry, I misclicked.
Okay, no problem. That does actually happen all the time. A lot of people misclick. Okay, next person. Let's try and bring our next guest up. Will they be smarter than the vegan? Hello, how you doing?
Hi, can you?
I can't hear you. No, actually.
Okay, so
Try again.
hi, it's better now. Can you hear me?
A little bit,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, no, it's gone
Better?
off again. So we are going to move on. It sounds like your microphone is really bad. Hello, how you doing?
Hello, how are you doing? I'm doing
Good, thank
great.
you. Good, good.
Sorry, my English is not perfect. I hope it doesn't matter. I spent quite some time researching for this topic. I actually discussed with your German friend already.
Yeah,
and I presented him something and he couldn't really say anything against it. And I want to try if you have something to say to it.
Sure.
So, first of all, I'm for the animal extinction. I think that endless suffering, it's not good. Wildlife suffering is real. It's a real problem, and we have to do something against it. So I'm with you there. But what I'm against is I think it says on your website that let me look, that the means justify. So a war with total suffering, if there is total extinction at the end, is okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So you would say if there's a war and it has the worst suffering of all time for everyone, but at the end, every suffering extinct, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So first, I have to say everything I will say now is based on facts and studies. I can send them to you afterwards. I can send you all my calculation afterwards or per chat. So yeah.
Okay.
And what I'm going to argue is that we know that the universe will end in about 1 billion years. The sun will. So wait.
The
sun
universe?
will. Not the Earth. The sun. The sun will end, will die. So in about 1 billion years, or if we're pessimistic, in about 8 billion years, I calculated with 8 billion years, all suffering, or the Earth, the humans will be extinct.
Okay.
So I think the more rational way, I will prove it later, is that we don't force with an active war for the pro-extinction, but we wait until the death of the sun in 1 billion years and just don't research to live. And now I can present you why I say that, because it's based on facts. And there is one misassumption in your website is that
So we should do nothing. We should just let them suffer.
No. What we should do is we should stop researching on living after the sun dies. We should accept that when the sun dies, the humans will go extinct, and we should do the animal extinction. This is what we should do. This is important.
Don't you think the most important thing is to get animal extinction happening first?
Yeah, I said it. Yeah, we should do the animal extinction. It's important, and we should do it as fast as possible. But with the human extinction, we should wait for the natural way and not before that. Because the first misassumption is if we take animal suffering out of the way and we say we do the animal extinction, we can see that suffering is declining. Because the extreme poverty is going down. In 1850, it was with 76%. Now it's 10%.
Yeah, I think I know where this is going. You're
No. I've done it mathematically.
Okay.
So I can show you all the studies afterwards. In the end, we can say the suffering is not staying the same. It's going down. It will not. No, it will never be zero. There will always be suffering, and this is the problem. But we can say it will go to some value definitely lower than today, because we have science. We will involve, and yeah.
Okay, actually, you're making a mistake there. You're saying that
Okay.
it will definitely get better, but
No.
that's yeah.
But
I think we can't assume it will get better. It could get worse.
Yeah. And okay, let's say that, but I will come back to this because we can also, if you say you have this war, and you have this war to end all suffering, you can say it's very that the possibility that this war is effective and the suffering end forever is very high. But you can never say to 100% you will end suffering. And the next problem is the way before that, because you have all these powerful people who live on the earth very happily, and they will do everything that they can against the extinction. So the way to the extinction will be very much suffering. And now I come to the point, what I want to say. We have, suffering is not linear. Like mild discomfort is not the same as maximal suffering. You can't just say mild discomfort is weighted 1 and extreme suffering is weighted 10 on a scale if you want to measure that. You can say we have 5 levels of suffering if we do it, if we modelize it, and we say we have mild discomfort with weight 1, and then the highest value
Okay.
is maximal suffering 10,000 times more extreme than the mild discomfort. It's like being tortured, being skinned alive. I don't know. It's the really worst that can happen to you while you still be able to feel something.
Okay.
And if we do that, we can say you go to the extreme with the suffering. So I can go to the extreme and say if we have this war for the extinction, it will be the most extreme war we will ever have with the most extreme suffering we will ever have.
But that suffering will be a drop in the ocean. It will be negligible.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm disproving that right now.
How? How are you gonna? You can't,
Yeah.
right? Because
We're
in an
please let me
ocean
talk.
of suffering where human suffering is like a tiny.
You can. I'm even discussing tomorrow with Steven because the German made some contacts to him because he was very impressed by my calculations. So I'm discussing it with the founder of it. You can ask the German pro-extinction guy. You can write him right now. So yes.
Okay, but again, any human suffering is going to be negligible compared to animal suffering.
Yeah, I said again, I can say it again, I'm against animal suffering and we should extinct the animals, but not the humans until the sun dies. We should now, if it's possible, I would now extinct everyone.
Why does the sun matter?
Because in 1 billion years, if we do nothing about
That's
it...
so far away from now that we don't even need to worry about it.
Can you let me talk? Please, I will let you talk
actually,
afterwards.
I'm not going to let you talk. No, because I don't think you're very rational. I don't think you'll be very good for the movement. You've got some sort of fixation with the sun and humanity continuing on. You're ignoring all of the wild animal suffering, saying that the human suffering during a war would be terrible. Again, it's a drop in the ocean. It's not the type of suffering you should be worrying about. Hello, how you doing?
Hey, it's me again. I was gonna, I had a thought the other day about the extinction movement, and I saw a series that's called, sorry, my pronunciation might not be good, but Pluribus. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I love it. I love Pluribus.
Yeah, it feels like there's like a connection there with the extinction movement and the suffering that entails and the beings. I don't know where that would go in the series, but is that the kind of does it resonate?
Yeah, it's similar. I've actually talked about Pluribus a few times on this stream, not today, but yeah, absolutely. I like the idea of humanity coming together and being useful and trying to do something good. That's kind of what we want to do, is connect as many people together as we can, and yeah, unite them, unify them to behind a good cause, ending suffering.
So you feel like the aliens that are invading have like a good understanding of minimizing the suffering and collectivizing?
They don't reflect the extinction movement perfectly. No, they're happy for animals to suffer. also they don't seem to be very rational either, right? They can't speak to Carol and make any sense. That there's something wrong with them. So we don't idolize Pluribus as something to go after, but it does spark some interesting thoughts about, what would happen if we were all, following 100% moral obligation. We would all start looking like robots, right? Yeah, even if I became, even more dedicated to the movement, eventually I would just become a robot, right? Humanity is kind of like stands in contrast to robots, which is similar to Pluribus. It's basically a robot, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I do feel like we have a lot of like humans have a lot of empathy, a lot of like understanding the complexity of what it means to be human, to suffer. So it is in contrast to the beings in Pluribus. But I do feel like it is like a little bit like softening the ideology that is pro-extinction. It kind of speaks to it. Do you have any media, films that you like that kind of speaks to that too? Like just like cut through like the debating as well. Like I would like to like see what you like. Do you feel like there is something that speaks to you?
In terms of, no, not really, to be honest.
It's okay.
And I guess part of that is because humanity as a whole is, well, extinction is as far away from humanity as you can get. It's the far opposite end, right? You've got animalistic, wanting life to exist, wanting to have kids, and then you've got wanting no life to exist, no kids, nothing. So because of that, I think there's not that much media out there which is similar to extinction, but there are a lot of similarities and a lot of very similar. You've got like Ultron and whatever else. You've got Thanos, which is not the same.
Yeah.
But one an anime that I watch is called To Your Eternity, and there's a villain in that show that basically they're trying to kill everyone to end their suffering, basically.
I'm gonna watch it. Sounds interesting.
It's a good show.
Yeah. I don't have anything else. I did have a lot of things to say, but I feel like that's such a good way to end this too, because it's a lot of debating and like existential crisis. And yeah, thank you for.
Thank you for coming up, Madeline. All right, let's get back to some existential crisis and some debating. All right, let's see. We've got Jessica coming up. Jessica, how is your existential crisis today?
Hi there. Look, I completely understand where you're coming from.
Okay.
Here's my take. Human suffering, it's innate, but it's obviously more evident within certain populations. If we try and address systemic change within populations where it's not as significant, we can reduce the suffering. And in populations where it's severe,
we're against reducing suffering being the ultimate goal, right? Reducing suffering is good, but it's nothing compared to ending suffering, right? It's like you wouldn't say, well, we should reduce slavery. No, we should just have no slavery.
Yeah, I can understand that, but I still feel like in some populations, like the general, suffering level is quite low.
But the individuals still suffer terribly within them. So
I know, but
if we look at everything as groups, then it just ignores the individual
experience, and I understand that, but we should have systems in place that actually address and support the individual experience.
But only extinction, the only system that can actually address all of the suffering is extinction.
I know, but it's like, how feasible is that? Because
we've already made several species of animals go extinct without even trying. And humanity is advancing philosophically with ethics and morality to the point where now you've got extinction activists saying no suffering is okay, and the movement is growing. So I think we're going in the right direction.
Yes, but I also think we're not. Like, if you look at the United States and the political atmosphere and the abortion that they're actually kind of prohibiting women from engaging in, that's perpetuating suffering, and they are intentionally doing that and they know what they're doing. So I just feel,
Well, yeah, we need to run the world ethically. It's being run by criminals right now. So absolutely, we
yeah,
need to
and
try and change it and not just say there's nothing we can do.
yeah, but I feel that it's so deeply entrenched in the way this system
But
and
you're
this
being
world
part of the problem, right? If everyone thinks that way, nothing will ever change.
I don't know. I guess I'm a bit pessimistic. Like, I guess my approach is in the populations that suffering isn't, devastatingly impactful, we can create systems to support those individuals. And the populations where it's just catastrophic, what can we do to reduce the population size? Can we get some contraceptives in place? Can we get
Again,
education?
I'm against considering populations and groups, because then you're saying that infinite suffering can happen to the individuals in that group, and we don't care. If you only care about the group and you say that it doesn't matter what happens to the individuals, then you're allowing just infinite cruelty.
Yeah, I guess.
It's a meat grinder, right? It's a meat grinder, and people say let's run the meat grinder on a little bit less meat, but still have the meat going. It's not okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I just feel like to get to that point where we actually do ultimately end it all is just so difficult with the way that we use suffering to gain capital.
It's going to be hard, but we have to fight for what's right.
Okay, well, thanks for the chat. Good luck.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you for coming up. Okay, let's see who we've got next. We've got, again, quite a few people in the queue to bring on. So let's try and get Amy up next, if possible. Amy, are you coming up? Okay, maybe not. In that case, I'm going to try and get someone else on. We have what looks like, I don't know, a racist troll account or something, maybe? Okay, no, we've got someone else now. Valdore, hello.
Hello. I was just thinking about how bad was the suffering 2 or 3 thousand years ago. Just imagine
It was
you
the
don't
same,
have
the exact same, no difference.
no,
No
it was
change.
far worse than today.
No, it was the same. It was the same for wild animals. The majority of the population, it's never changed. Always been
I'm
the same.
talking about the people.
Yeah, you're ignoring the vast majority of the population.
I agree for the animals, but I'm talking about the people. You can imagine that you don't have medicine.
I think I know where you're going with this. You're saying that if we can make the meat grinder have a little bit less meat in it, but still keep torturing people, then it's okay.
Excuse me?
Is that it? Our world right now is a meat grinder where the vast majority get tortured and the very privileged minority, the few at the top, they get to enjoy the meat.
No, that's terrible. And I agree with you that today is also terrible. I mean, I agree.
So
with
you're
all
saying let's take less meat out of it. I'm saying no, let's turn the meat grinder off.
I was just I wanted just to share my thoughts about the the extent of the torture that the people were experienced years ago. I mean, without medicine, without anything, without hot water. I mean, they couldn't take a shower.
Yeah. But even as things have gotten more advanced here, it's being used for bad things as well. Technology advances.
That
but
I
the
agree.
torture, the abuse advances as well.
And the bad thing is that even today we have all the technologies, all the improvements. We are still in bad situations that many people want to take their lives.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That
And that will always
the
happen.
problem.
Without until extinction, that will always happen.
I don't know why is that, and I really want the robots to take the world because
Good.
I don't think how the Gen Z will survive. I mean, if you look at the social media, many of them are already exhausted, and they are like 30s or 20, 25, 26. They are young people. They should have energy, but they are already exhausted.
There's too much
Like,
competition, right? There's too much
yeah.
pressure, too much stress. You know, 3,000 years ago, you go and relax in the river. You go and relax in the lake, and go for a swim. Now it's like you've got work, you've got stress, studies, you've got housework, all this rubbish, right?
Yeah. And the previous generation, it seems that cannot understand our
Stress.
situation.
Yeah.
They think we are lazy.
Yes. Yeah.
We are what else? I don't know. We are just
Impatient.
lazy. We don't want to work.
Lazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But really, it's like if you want a career and you want a good job, it's difficult now to even think what job would I even go for, right? It's all going to be AI in 3 years from now. If you're going to study at university and study at college, what on earth are you going to study that's not going to be wiped out by AI 3 years from now?
I am pharmacist and I am not worried about that so much. But almost 50% of the jobs, including my job, can be replaced soon by AI.
Yeah. Which is a good thing, by the way. It's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
We have to get over that hump of stress where nobody has a job and everyone's stressing. Eventually, it'll be AI, no jobs, universal income, and everyone can relax. That will happen.
I was looking at the mirror this winter. A person that was working in the minus, I don't know, 10
minus 10 degrees.
10 degrees, yeah, per Celsius. And I was thinking about what the fuck. I mean, this person is working 8 hours in these conditions. This shouldn't be done by humans. This should be done only by robots.
Yeah, I agree.
And
our movement supports that completely. Yeah, we want to get personal robots to everyone for free. We think everyone should be. If we run the world, one of the first things we will do, I swear to God, is to start giving everyone their own personal robots for free.
UBI and UBI.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of UBI. They called me communist, but what is the other path that we can go to eat each other? I don't know.
Eat each other.
The capitalism has reached this phase that we can start hate each other.
But the problem with that is that as capitalism has gotten more evil and whatever, the problem is that everyone has got computers, they've got iPhones, and so they don't care, right? As people are getting poorer and the wealth divide is getting bigger, people aren't getting more likely to protest because now they've got things that replace the need for money. They could just watch their phone all day, and you don't need to go out and spend money.
For sure, there is a good things that capitalism produces, but to what extent? maybe when one point comes, the people will start hate each other during the competition for one position. I mean, for one position, at the moment, there are 300 people.
Yeah, and that's going to get worse and worse as AI takes jobs.
Just
There'll be
imagine
less
for a
jobs.
second, these people that are in one room, how they look each other. I mean, they will look at each other like
Animals. Yeah.
animals. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Everyone.
And so accelerationism is a bad thing if you've ever heard of it, because it wants to make the world worse so that they will protest more for good things. But it will just make it more animalistic, I think. So yeah, we do not support accelerationism. We should not be making the world worse. We should be making it better.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm a Christian, by the way, but
That's it. You're out of here. No, I'm joking. We were going to move on to a different guest anyway, but I thought that would be a funny point to do it. Valdore, thank you for coming on. It was a good conversation. Yeah, also the stream has got loads of restrictions, which prevents new people coming in, prevents Cora sending money to me. So I'm going to take a break now and maybe come back in like an hour. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you in a bit.